He came along at the advent of televised golf and injected the sport with his special brand of magic. Television and Arnold Palmer, a perfect marriage. He's a living legend, an American icon, and he'll be our special guest tonight on Golf Talk Live. Welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm Peter Kessler. In 1950, only 8% of American homes owned televisions. In 1960, that number grew to 88%. It was the year in which the consummation of the marriage between sports and television took place. We saw Mantle and Maris, the Celtics, the Olympics and wide world of sports. The greatest impact, however, may have been generated by a bold and charismatic golfer named Arnold Palmer. His fireworks were so explosive that even Jack Nicklaus was to say that Arnold was the right man in the right place at the right time. Tonight, you'll be able to talk to the king, and there is only one king. Arnold Daniel Palmer's love affair with his fans and theirs with him has been equaled by only Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali. Arnold Palmer losing a golf tournament stirred more passion, drama, and emotion than almost anyone else winning. His fans feel his emotions and are involved in every stroke. The roller coaster ride through streams, trees, and bunkers in a typical Palmer round are adventures and magic that he shares with his adoring public. He is the most exciting personality in the history of golf, and for many soldiers in Arnie's army, their first golf hero. Arnold Palmer epitomizes the American dream and mirrors what Americans like to think of themselves. He's bold, charismatic, a winner. A man who identifies with his hometown, has been married to the same woman for 40 years, succeeds at everything he's ever done, and still seems like a regular guy. And for more than 3 decades, he has been a symbol. As Thomas Hauser opined so aptly in his book, Arnold Palmer, A Personal Journey, very few athletes hold on to their humility when they become great and retain their magic when they grow old. Yet Palmer has done both. Welcome to Golf Talk Live, my friend.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Well, there isn't any place in the world I'd rather be.
I want to wish you a belated happy and healthy New Year. Belated happy 40th anniversary with Winnie last month. Congratulations on the birth of the Golf Channel and on your new grandson, William.
Thank you.
Tell me about William.
Well, he's 3 months old. He's hitting it 100 yards. And his mother thinks that she's got to slow him down a little bit. He's going too fast.
Oh, do we have clubs for him already?
Oh, they were made before he was born.
Graphite or steel?
Oh, a little graphite. I don't think he needs them. He's going to be strong enough to bend the steel.
Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Tell me what kind of a man your father was.
Peter, we don't have enough time tonight to talk about that. Good gracious, he did everything that influenced my life. He was the man. He was tough. He was raised in a coal town. At 16, he started working on a golf course and as a laborer, and he never left there. He died at 72, and all those years he was on that golf course, and he raised his family and supported his family on that golf course. And a lot of those years it was a 9-hole course, but at the same time he was associated with the guys that were coming out of the coal mines and steel mills. As a matter of fact, there was a time when he, during World War II, that he spent 3 years working in the melt shop, in the steel mill, running a golf course from the superintendent or greenkeeper's side, as well as being the pro. And how do I know that? I was his assistant, and according to him, I wasn't very good.
Do you remember the round of golf that you played in Palm Springs on the day your father died?
Oh, I do. I do.
Do you remember what you shot?
I do.
Me too.
Do you?
Tell us.
But you weren't there.
Yes, I was. I walked every hole with you. You shot 64
Right.
at Bermuda Dunes.
Right.
You were hitting your irons 20 and 25 feet from the hole, and you made everything that day.
You know, Peter, we're going to have a real problem on this show
What's that going to be?
if you keep saying that they were 20, 25 feet from the hole.
I think you were pushing your irons a little bit that day and made
I
everything.
thought everyone was about 5 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet.
When the cameras were on 18 and you hit it 5 feet from the hole, that was the time that you came alive. But I remember that 64, you had no fives, you had no three putts, you had no doubles. And I often wondered if you thought later, was that your dad giving you a little bit of a message?
Well, you know, Peter, that's funny. My father was for the best part, was a pretty quiet man. He was never really outspoken. He always was a man that always said, let everybody else talk and you listen. And you'll have your opportunity when it's right. And there was something about his death that struck me oddly, whatever. It was a very sad moment in my life. But, you know, I talked to him on the phone about 2 days before he passed away. And he was very talkative. He wanted to talk, and that was not his style. And I never thought about that. I was joyed with it. I really enjoyed talking to him, even though he and I competed in everything we did, and the advice that I got through the years was all from him. But he wanted to talk, and it was almost like after it happened that he knew something was coming on.
But he still played 27 holes that day, didn't he?
He played 27 holes of golf, and let me say something to you and anybody else in the world. If I can play 27 holes of golf and have a drink and relax after I play, and I happen to pass away, it's the only way to do it.
Well, it's a can't miss because you do it every day.
That's right. Well, you're right. Okay, Peter.
I want you to call us if you want to talk to Arnold Palmer. 1-800-842-9987. You're watching Golf Talk Live, and this, of course, is Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer's first professional victory came in 1955 at the Canadian Open. It would feature his career low total for 72 holes of 265 strokes. He also shot a pair of 64s in the first and third round to seal his victory.
You're watching Golf Talk Live. We're with Arnold Palmer. If you'd like to chat with Arnold, please call us at 1-800-842-9987. Before we go to the Canadian Open, a couple of quick questions. When you were a little boy, did you ever stand over a 5-foot putt, pretend you were another golfer like the rest of us pretended we were you, and said this is for the U.S. Open?
Well, Peter, you're kidding me. Now, you play golf.
You bet.
Haven't you ever done that?
Absolutely. But I used to pretend that I was you. Who did you used to pretend to be?
Well, I could name Nelson, who was one of my real favorite guys, and gee, I could think of Walter Hagen, Bob Jones, but it didn't really, all of those people were my heroes. But I was Arnold Palmer. I'm putting for that Open, and I started doing it. I remember when I played 9 holes of golf as a boy, My first objective was to get under fives.
Let me ask you another question. Just like a pretty girl knows that she's pretty, at some time you had to know that you were going to be a great player and were a crackerjack golfer as a kid. When did that happen?
Peter, I never allowed myself to really get into that mode in golf. And my father always, again, referring to him, would always say, you know, he said, just go ahead and do it and don't say anything about it. And he said, a lot of people will respect you a lot more for it. And that means play your game. Don't tell everybody what you're going to do. So I didn't even allow myself the luxury of thinking that I was better than a lot of people. I just kept trying. And the more I tried, it seemed like the better I got. And I certainly had a lot of confidence. And there was days and years that I can remember that I got a little braggadocious and cocky, like any kid. But I still kept in the back of my mind that one thing. And thank goodness I did, because, you know, it really helped me a lot. I think that a lot of players lose what their ultimate destiny might be by getting too cocky or getting ahead of themselves, thinking they're better than they really are. If you can keep a good, even balance there, know you're good, don't talk too much about it. Just show everybody how good you are.
And you did.
Well, I didn't do it any better than a lot of people, but I was very fortunate, and I hit the right places at the right time.
Let's go ahead. We're going to take our first call. We're going to take a call from South Carolina. Is that Quag who's with us?
Claude, right.
Claude. Hello, Claude. Got a question for Mr. Palmer?
Yes, I'm really excited about the Golf Channel and getting to talk to Arnold Palmer, sure enough. I'd like some information or suggestions to create interest and support for a junior golf program. Public, golf courses, schools, youth, this type thing.
Well, Claude, you sound like one of my people from North Carolina, South Carolina, and I'm going to tell you something. I think junior golf is on the upswing, and I think public golf is on the upswing. And, you know, I went to Wake Forest in 1947, and I kind of kept that language that you just gave me, and it made me homesick almost when I heard you ask me those questions. But let me say that golf is, in junior golf, public golf is on the upswing very, very heavy right now, and we will see a lot more public facilities built. We'll see a lot more facilities that are meant for young people, junior golfers, coming along in the future, and I think it's wonderful. And I think that's what's going to continue to make the game of golf as great as it's been. I suppose, Claude, if I had a concern, it would be to make sure that we keep the tradition and integrity that I've known in the game as these young people come along in the game.
1960, and we're going to go back to this, you won the Masters, you win the U.S. Open, you go over to play in the British Open at St. Andrews. Clearly you had to be thinking about the Slam. Tell us what you were thinking when you went there and why St. Andrews was such a great golf course for you.
Well, Peter, I mentioned it earlier that one of the major reasons that I went to the British Open was it intrigued me. International golf, golf in Europe, but the European situation in those days was very quiet. It was not overwhelming. But the British Empire had one of the most tremendous influences on the game of golf of any, well, that's where it came from. I mean, that's where it happened. And going to the British Open was something that when I first understood what the game of golf was all about and talked to my father about it, it was something that if you didn't go and play and do something in the British Open, you really weren't, you couldn't put yourself in the class of a professional golfer. So that became number one on my agenda. I must admit that in the early days, it was the British Amateur and the British Open. When I won the U.S. Amateur, and met Winnie, and all the things started happening. The plan was to play in the Walker Cup, play in the British Amateur, play in the British Open, and do all those nice things that I didn't have the money. I couldn't afford it. And I'm being very frank. I looked at the situation. I wanted to get married. I wanted to play golf. But I couldn't just take off. I couldn't afford to do that. So I really carefully looked at my situation, and I knew that there was one way that I was going to make some of those things happen, and that was turn pro and play good.
We're going to take a call. We've got Jerry from Rancho Mirage. Are you with us, Jerry?
Yes, Arnie, congratulations from your old golfing partner up here in Rancho Mirage. I congratulate you on your new golf channel and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at the Bob Hope tournament.
Well, thanks, Jerry. I'm looking forward to my 37th Bob Hope Desert Classic, and that is going to be a great thrill, as it is every year. It's been that way for many years. And
you've won about, what, 6 of
How's
them?
your game, Mr. President?
Pardon?
How's your game these days?
Well, I've got a little torn shoulder here that I'm working on to get a little more sympathy from some of my golfing hustler partners like Hope.
Well, listen, are we going to play?
I hope so. We do every year.
We haven't missed for a long time.
That's right. And if we can get old Bob out there to come and join us, it'll be a good day.
Well, I'm happy to hear you, and I'm happy to hear that you're going to be playing golf, and I hope your shoulder isn't too bad.
Well, I'm working on it, and I look forward to it, Arnie. And congratulations on a great career, and I hope your new golf channel is going to be very successful.
Thank you, and I hope you'll keep tuned.
Will do.
Thanks for
right,
helping
sir.
us to get off to such a great start tonight, Mr. President. We're going to take a short break. If you'd like to speak to Mr. Palmer, please call us at 1-800-842-9987. You're watching Golf Talk Live.
I suppose the most important thing is the fact that it has been as good as it has been to me. I think all this a little bit of just being a little sun-whipped and tired and ready to take a little rest. Hopefully, a few more golf tournaments along the way, and I think that's about all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Let's flash back to 1960. In 1960, when you played in the Open, Herb Wynn, the great writer, said, "It was the most explosive stretch of subpar golf any golfer had ever produced in the championship when it mattered." Tell us about it.
Well, of course, the Open in '60 was just a whole bunch of things that happened. Prior to that Open, I was playing pretty good. I was confident. I got into the Open. I remember the first shot I hit in the Open Championship, and it was almost funny. I hit a tee shot, and I was going to drive the green. I was strong and going at it.
As always.
And I hit it dead right, and it went into a stream on the right side of the first fairway, and it was washing downstream. And I'll never forget, looked up, and who is there to give me a ruling but Joe Dye? And I thought, my goodness, there's something. You know, I don't know whether I'm in a good position or a bad position, but I sort of kidded with him. I said, "Can I just let it wash on down and take it in kidding way?"
And he had a great sense of humor.
He wasn't so. He didn't have any sense of humor at that point. And we were friends, but he told me very sternly where I could drop it and get on with the game, and I did. And I started with 6 in a double bogey. And then things happened. I played good, and I didn't make any putts. It was almost boring. I was very upset. 3 rounds ended, and I had shot, I think, 71, or 72, 71, 72. Some order may be different, but... and I remember walking into the locker room, and I was really frustrated. And I saw a friend by the name of Bob Drum, who was a writer for the Pittsburgh Press at the time. And I was looking for sympathy, I guess. I was looking for someone to say, "Oh, well, you know, those things will happen." And I kind of came out with a line like, "Bob, what do you think I can do if I shoot 65 this afternoon?" And he turned around, and he was not nice at all. And he said, 65 wouldn't do you any good at all. And I was angry. I mean, coming from a friend, I was looking for sympathy, and I didn't get it. And I never finished lunch. I went to the driving range, hit a few balls, heard my name called, went to the tee, and I probably ought to be very thankful for Bob, because he lit a spark that everything else became insignificant, and except playing that round of golf. And I remember hitting that drive, and I hit it hard. And I remember seeing it hit in the rough, just short of the green, and taking one bounce and bouncing on the green, and I got excited then. I went from anger and from disgust to excitement, and I remember I was so excited I almost 3-putted that putt for an eagle, made birdie, and of course then everything happened. I chipped it in once. I made a couple long putts. The one hole that I didn't birdie in that early stretch was the 5th hole, which was a par 5. And I should have. I was pin high in 2, took 3 to get it down, get it up and down, but I birdied all the rest. And of course, the other thing that I remember most was the 8th hole, a par 3. I hit the ball with a 2-iron, and I hit it very well. And it hit on top of the sand trap, went right in line with the pin, and came back into the sand trap. And I didn't make a bad bunker shot. I made probably 3 feet, and I missed the putt. And then I got concerned, because I knew that I was in position at that point to win the Open, if I could just do some pretty good golfing from there in. And I made a good par at 9, and played the back 9 probably as well as I had played any 9. Didn't make a lot of putts, but ended up shooting 65, and that was the name of the game. I won by 2. And I remember watching Hogan and Tommy Bolt and all these guys, and Jack, as a matter of fact. But it was fun. It was real fun.
We're going to talk some more about that in just a minute. We're going to take a short break. You're watching Golf Talk Live. I'm Peter Kessler. We're here with Arnold Palmer. Please give him a call at 1-800-842-9987. Thanks for watching us.
But the huge crowd stays on because Arnold Palmer, pre-tournament favorite, is still in it. Needing 2 birdies to win, he comes in under par on the 17th. And on the 18th, the big one, he smashes right onto the green. Crowd is hushed as Palmer shoots. It's good. 2 years ago, Palmer won the Masters by 1 stroke. And now he does it again. One of golfing's top trophies for a man of steel, Arnold Palmer.
You're watching Golf Talk Live. I'm sitting with Arnold Palmer, and we're going to take a call from Karen from Birmingham, Alabama. Hello, Karen.
Hi there. First of all, I want to say I'm a relative of Joe Gibbs. Our whole family's here together watching the launch of the Golf Channel, and we want to say good luck and congratulations. But Mr. Palmer, out of all the majors you've won, which was the most special to you?
Oh, I would never put any one as the most special. I think golf and playing in major championships has been just a privilege to me and something that I have thoroughly enjoyed. You can't ever ignore tournaments like the Masters, which is fantastic to win, or the Open, the British Open. But you know, I didn't win the PGA, and I suppose that's one of the things that maybe in some ways makes it something that I probably will always want to do. But major championships are great, and they're great to win. But to distinguish one from the other, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Let's take another call. We've got Bill from Curtis, Illinois. Bill, how are you?
Yes, Mr. Palmer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm a head golf pro at a public facility just outside Toledo, Ohio. It's actually in Ohio, and co-owner of a course. And I have a 2-part question, if I might, sir. Do you enjoy the links-style golf courses as much as I do? I've been fortunate enough to play Prairie Dunes and Shinnecock Hills and a few courses similar to that. And I was wondering if they so to speak, turn you on more so than the Parkland-style golf courses?
Oh, I don't think so. I think I enjoy links golf courses. I enjoy links courses particularly in Scotland and England, where I've played St Andrews and Troon, Birkdale, which are really kind of links golf courses. You know, it's amazing about links golf courses. Oakmont was once considered a links golf course, and it's in the interior of the country. But you know, Bill, it's funny. I don't know that there are many golf courses that I haven't enjoyed playing one way or another. There are a few that I guess I had less fun on over the years than others, but I felt that any golf course that I had the opportunity to play, the ones that were in bad shape as well as the ones that were in good shape, and the ones that were a challenge one way or another, that's exactly what it was. It was a challenge for me to be able to play the golf course and score and beat that golf course.
Let's talk to Steve from Santa Monica. How are you, Steve?
Good. How you doing?
You're doing fine.
Good. Arnold, congratulations on the launch of the new channel. It looks great.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, in surveying some of the crop of younger pros on the tour right now, do any of them stand out as, having the potential both in physical talent and, I guess, mental toughness and being able to dominate in the future?
Well, I think there's always that potential. This guy, Ernie Els, has impressed me very, very much. I was first impressed with him when I played with him in the PGA in St. Louis, and I invited him to my tournament at Bay Hill, and he came down there, and he didn't perform particularly well, but I played with him a couple times after that, and he was very impressive. But I think that we have, in the United States, just a lot of young people who have potential that is sort of not being used. I think that we have some young golfers that when they get their mind to it, they can be as good as anybody in the world. and I hope they will. I hope that we see a young player, whether it be Els or whether it be a young American player. We've seen Nick Price do fantastically well, and what a great game he's displayed over the last few years. But I think that we need guys like this. I think that stimulates the game, inspires young people to play. And I hope that we will have one of our young guys, a Davis Love, any one of them that have the ability to do it. Fred Couples, they're all great players.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Arnold Palmer. You're watching Golf Talk Live. If you'd like to speak with Arnold, please call him at 1-800-842-9987. Thanks for watching us.
Good shot. Go on in the hole. Go on in the hole.
What a great moment that was.
That was fun.
Let's take a call from Bob from Palm Springs. Are you with us, Bob?
Huh?
Hi. Hey,
Hi
Bob.
there.
Mr. Hope, is that you?
Yes, it is.
How you doing?
Fine.
How are you, Robert?
Who's this?
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Congratulations on this.
Oh, thank you. Did you play 18 holes today?
No, I didn't play 18, but I played 12.
Good for you. I'm happy to hear
I
that.
ran out of balls.
That's wonderful.
Your golf tournament's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, we got an auction from the 15th to the 19th of
Yeah.
February.
Well, I'm looking forward to being back, too. I hope
You better be here.
I'm going to be, Bob, unless something happens between now and then that I don't know about.
Well, that's wonderful. You've always been wonderful about that.
Hey, well, listen, I wouldn't do anything else in this world. I love being there.
What's the best
Remember
thing?
when we honored you in Pittsburgh and and I was MC and the priest got up and told all the jokes?
I do.
And when he finished, I said, let us pray.
I remember it very well. Yes.
I'll never forget that.
I won't either. Our friend George Love.
Happy, healthy New Year, Mr. Hope.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for calling us.
Right.
Let's go back and talk about Jack a little bit. In 1960, one of the interesting things about that Open was the fact that it was the end of Hogan, the coronation of Palmer, and the arrival of Nicklaus. From 58 through 64, you won 50 golf tournaments in this country. And in 1962, Jack beat you in the playoff at Oakmont at the Open. You three-putted 11 times in 90 holes. He three-putted only once. When Jack began to crowd your space, what did that feel like?
Well, I always, in the early days particularly, I didn't feel a great threat. I felt like I could play and play well enough to handle Jack or anybody else that came along. And I didn't mean that I was cocky in that respect at all. The one thing I did learn about Jack in the Open at Oakmont was that I figured that he would have trouble driving it at Oakmont. I knew that if he could get it in the fairway, he was a great iron player at a very young age, and it was going to be tough to beat. But I thought that he might drive it in the rough, and that was just something that was in my mind, and as a matter of fact, that was not a major factor. I just felt like I had to play good golf to beat him. After the Open, I was very aware of how good he was, and knew that he had he was driven, and he was driven to be a great player, and there was no question about it, and that was the kind of competition that I liked. And for the next few years, we had a lot of good competitions. I suppose a couple of times, one of the things that happened is that Jack and I got to playing each other so much in some major championships that we lost perspective. We lost the focus on what we were supposed to be doing, and that was winning a golf tournament. But there's no question about Jack Nicklaus. I would say the greatest player that ever lived. He played. He was a driven person, and he dedicated himself. But you know, Peter, it's funny. In my golfing life, and it's still here, I hope. But I had the opportunity to play golf with a lot of great players, and Jack Nicklaus, certainly, as I've just said, but Gary Player, my goodness, here's a guy that came on and was fantastic, and what a great player he was, and he was a trier. He never stopped trying, and but you know, I could go back, and I played with Hogan, Nelson, not a lot with Nelson because he had retired, but Snead I played a lot with, and I consider that one of the real privileges of the life that I've had in the game, and to be able to know these guys and kind of see how they thought and play with them, play against them, was really a great privilege. And the game of golf in itself, you have to understand that it's not a job, it's a pleasure.
That's a way of life for you.
It is.
We're going to come right back. We're going to take a break. If you'd like to speak with Mr. Palmer, please call him at 1-800-842-9987. You're watching Golf Talk Live. I thought that was wonderful. Let's take a quick call. Let's take a call from Reb in San Marcos, California. You with us?
Yes, I am, Mr. Palmer.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Mr. Palmer?
Fine, thank you.
I have a two-part question for you. Part one, in your opinion, are golfers better today than they were in the 50s and 60s, or has equipment improved that much? And part two, if you feel that the equipment has made the difference, which one in particular? The club, the shaft, or the ball?
Well, first of all, let me start at the end and work back. I think the ball is probably one of the most major improvements in the game of golf. I think the ball is something that we need to look at as far as if there's ever going to be something that we regulate a little bit more or slow down to keep our golf courses competitive, it would be the golf ball. I think the equipment that we see being manufactured generally today is greater, no question about it. But what the equipment is doing is giving a lot of us older guys an opportunity to play golf a little bit longer. A larger sweet spot, a lighter overall weight with the same swing weights we used when we were young. So the technology in the game of golf is fantastic, and it gets better all the time. And what it does is extend the life of a lot of us to play the game and enjoy it a little bit more. As far as the caliber of golfers, If you brought Jones and Hagen and Snead and Nelson and Hogan and put them in the game today, they would be doing the same thing they did when they were playing. And there's no question in my mind about that. What's happening today is we have a lot of very fine young players, a lot more than we've ever had before in our history, and I think that's a big difference.
Let's take a call from Gary in Maryville, Tennessee. Gary, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Question for Mr. Palmer.
Yes, Arnold, I'd like to know who is your favorite professional to play around the golf with today? And my second question is, who do you think is the #1 golfer in the world right now?
Ooh, boy. Well, I have a lot of guys I enjoy playing with. Nicklaus, for an example, or Greg Norman, Nick Price. Gee, I enjoy playing with all these guys. And they're fascinating for me to play with, having played as many years as I have. The #1 golfer in the world today, I can only go by the statistics, and that's Nick Price. He's indicated that he deserves that honor right now, and I think he'll be challenged a lot. I suppose I could say, like that old cliche goes, it's easier to get there than it is to stay there.
We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Arnold Palmer. You're watching Golf Talk Live.
Rivalries are the lifeblood of sport. They're at the heart of what competition is all about. But most athletic lives are short, and individual rivalries tend to fade. In that regard, then, Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus are unique. Never before in the history of sports have two great superstars battled each other for as long and as hard as Arnie and Jack. And more than 3 decades after their rivalry began, it's still intense.
Arnold, let's take a call from an old friend of yours. We've got Dave Marr with us. Dave, are you with us?
I certainly am.
Thanks for calling.
Well, you turkey.
Arnold, I just wanted to call you and wish you good luck and all the people at the Golf Channel.
Hey, David, what are you doing?
Well, I'm sitting here just hoping you're doing fine and just wanted to wish you well.
You know, it's amazing. How does it feel to be the most sought-after golf announcer in the world?
Well, after 3 years, Arnold, it feels pretty good. I just hope that we get to work together some on the Golf Channel in the future.
Well, I do too, David. And, you know, it's been great having you as a friend over the years. And Peter just told me to ask you, what did you want me to make in the last hole of the Masters?
64?
Make a 12 or something.
A 12, right.
Yeah.
Well, I needed a little cushion. You had a 6-shot lead. But that was one of the great days of my life, and I'll never forget playing with you when you won there in 64.
Dave, what was the greatest part of Arnold's game in those days?
Well, it's just his sheer ability to not lose. I mean, whether he played well, of course, it was easy to win then, but even when maybe he didn't play too well, he managed a way to win, and that's the mark of a great champion.
Well, thank you, David. And are you feeling good?
I'm feeling very good, Arnold.
Well, I've had a lot of people ask me how you're feeling, and I'm very serious about that.
Well, no, I'm feeling well. Thank you very much for asking, though. It was a rough year last year, but I'm fine now, and I look forward to seeing you at one of the senior events or certainly at Augusta later this year.
Good, David.
Take care. Give Winnie a hug for me.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
And we look forward to seeing you here. We've just got a couple of minutes left. What drives you to keep going to the practice tee? The day that we met, it was a little bit of an overcast day. The golf course was closed. You hit balls for a couple of hours. Is it the joy of hitting golf balls? Is it still seeking to perfect the swing? What is it?
Oh, it's a total enjoyment of the game. I suppose that I have a fright of not being able to play some kind of reasonable golf, and knowing that when that happens, I probably won't play anymore. And that scares me. It really scares me. And I suppose what I'm trying to do is establish something that will carry me on to my, through the years that are coming ahead. And I hope I have a lot, but I want to play golf. I want to enjoy my friends and the people that have been so great through all these years. And I want to play a reasonable game of golf. I don't want to not play some kind of reasonable game.
How important is winning still to you?
Well, if I can get into a position to win, it becomes very, very important. But there's more to that than meets the eye. You first of all have to feel like you're hitting the ball well enough and the right things are happening to put you in a position to win.
You know, on behalf of your millions of fans, we think that if you would play in the Super Seniors, we'd get to see you win again. And let me give you the argument real quick. As a teenager, you played the teen events, you played on the tour till you were 50, you joined the senior tour after that, you're the best 65-year-old player in the world. Any reason you won't play with guys in your own age group anymore?
Well, there comes a time when you pull back, and that's what I'm doing.
What are your plans for the rest of the year?
I'm going to play some golf. I'll play some tournaments, hopefully a little better than I have in the last couple of years. But if I don't, it will be diminishing. I will fade away, and I do it a little less each year. Winnie hopes it's a lot less. But on the other hand, she likes to see me play well, too. So I've got a pretty heavy schedule right now, Peter.
Is the Golf Channel a way for you to leave a legacy, and what are your hopes for the Golf Channel?
Oh, my goodness. We should have started this question hours ago.
That's why I'm hoping you'll come back many times over the course of this year.
Well, I hope to be back on the Golf Channel, but I think that the Golf Channel can be so good for the game and so good for the people who love the game and enjoy it. And if there's a goal that I have, it is to, with the Golf Channel, it is to have everyone understand the tradition, the integrity of the game of golf.
On behalf of your millions of fans, best of luck this year. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. I think that all of us wanted to see you put your feet up, let your hair down, and reminisce a little bit. And I think we all got our money's worth, and this is what we were hoping for. And as always, you've delivered.
Thank you.
And with regard to the Golf Channel, you know, I believe that it's just part of your streak, because everything that you've ever done, you've succeeded at. And this is just another step in that same line.
Well, you're nice to say that. Thank you.
It's great to see you again. You've been watching Golf Talk Live. We've been visiting with Arnold Palmer. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching us.
You're watching the Golf Channel.